If you're an individual that struggles with recurrent depression, or someone who experiences depression for the first time, this video is for you. Hi everybody, this is Dr. Rue, and today we're going to talk about all things mental health, so stay tuned. Today, I'm going to talk about the reasons why having a routine can significantly help with managing depression. Having a daily routine can help you significantly with improving mental health. A lot of time, people who were never depressed before find that they are struggling with depression for the first time in their lives when they're transitioning into a new role. For example, someone who just transitioned from high school and is about to go to college, or someone who completed all their education and now is transitioning into the workforce. At times, people may find themselves struggling with depression after having a child or following a retirement. To a certain extent, at the beginning of 2020, we all experienced a collective depressive episode when our lives were interrupted by a world pandemic. Routine that we had taken for granted was shattered, and the day-to-day tasks we were used to incorporate in our everyday life were significantly disrupted. The question asked is, what is it about the disruption in our routine that results in feeling depressed? In order to answer that, it is important to understand what influences our emotions. In a prior video, I talked about what is cognitive behavioral therapy, and for those who are interested in learning more about it, check out the link down below. But in a nutshell, the idea behind cognitive behavioral therapy is the relationship between our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Those are all interconnected, and one impacts the other. When one area in our lives is interrupted, the other equation of the part of it is also interrupted and suffers as well. In this case, the world pandemic, we were no longer able to enjoy our daily routine, and as a result, emotions, thoughts, and feelings suffered. Now, why is this relationship so important to understand? When we understand the interrelationship between those three factors, we can create a shift in the way that we experience depression. Simply put, mood will follow action. Now, here's the situation you might be able to relate to. Jane is a 22-year-old who just graduated from college. She returns back home and is in the process of looking for a new position in her field. This is the first time in 4 years that she is back living with her family. Back in college, she used to have a routine where she used to wake up in the morning, exercise, go to class, study, and spend time with friends. Now she's at home, back in her room, not really a child, but not quite an adult. She's feeling lost. After a few days of relaxing at home, she starts applying for different positions in her newfound field. Weeks go by and then months with no real offers, and Jane is trying so hard, yet with no satisfying results. She starts to think that going to school was a mistake. She starts wondering if she's even going to find a job. She has fears about the trajectory of her life. She starts to doubt her abilities and her knowledge. She stops applying for positions and spends most of her day in bed, feeling lost. Now, if we look at the relationship between her thinking mind and her feelings, we can appreciate her actions. If there is no point of ever making change, why try? Soon, Jane's world becomes smaller and she no longer engages in the things that she used to enjoy. It's hard to change your thoughts. Sometimes it feels impossible. So instead, let's focus on one thing that you have control over, your behavior. Let's do an experiment. Please take your right hand and put it on your left shoulder and give yourself a good pat on the back. Why are you patting yourself? How do you feel about it? What does your mind tell you about it? I bet it tells you something along the lines of, this is silly, And yet your actions are independent, and they're not dependent on your thoughts. Not this time around. You may chuckle to yourself, and with that your mood changes, even if it's just for a brief moment. Now imagine that you can expand upon this feeling. Imagine creating a momentum with your behavior. Your thoughts and your feelings are going to follow. Even when life gets challenging and circumstances change, holding on to daily routines can help you stay grounded and help you facilitate a stable mood. Let's go back to Jane. Jane used to have a routine that worked for her, that was not related to her school. She would exercise, spend time with friends, and so on. Using these daily behaviors and habits can help Jane transition into a new schedule more easily. Keeping what she has and building from this is the key. You probably could relate to the idea of mood follows action if you can think back of a situation where you didn't feel like going somewhere or doing something. So your friends invited you to go for dinner or some kind of gathering, and at first it was hard to get motivated. Your friends convinced you, encouraged you to go, and you ended up going. As you were engaged in the experience and the outing, the feelings have changed, and you were more engaged, excited to go out with friends. And you actually ended up having a good time. Looking back, you realize that you were relieved that you showed up, as you would have missed out on this opportunity. This is a very common situation, which I could personally relate to over and over again. When I find myself in a situation where my mind is convincing me to not engage in an activity that I planned and I embedded in my routine, I remind myself that mood follows action. And before I know it, I get myself together and at least at first create the momentum of forcing myself to engage. I know from experience that once I break through that barrier, my feeling will follow, and I will no longer be trapped in my thinking mind. So let's break it down even more into a practical way of how you can apply that into your everyday experience. Think about a routine of activities that you enjoy doing and that will help you get active. The key here is movement, active doing, going on a daily walk, engaging in a daily meditation, spending time for reflection, scheduling a meal with friends or family. Whatever that might look like for you, the goal is to create a routine, write it out, put it on a planner or a schedule, and execute it. Sometimes it's helpful to create a schedule that focuses on you to stay accountable, such as taking an exercise class, scheduling a workout with a friend, or even getting on a virtual platform where you have to log or post your workout of the day. I refer to the word workout here as something active, not necessarily a rigorous activity, but just an activity that is helpful and that will get you hopefully outdoors and get you some fresh air and get your body moving. Stay committed. Write down all the reasons why it's important for you to stay active. Put it on a board, post it somewhere where you can see it, so that when your mind is giving you all that pep talk about how you should stay indoors and not do anything and how much you don't feel like it, your visual cues will serve as a reminder of why it's important for you to stay active and get moving. I want you to set yourself up for success. So come up with 2 activities that you can do daily. They don't have to be long, and at minimum 5-10 minutes. And over the next week, as you implement those, write it out and see how you feel before the activity and after your activity. And over the course of the week, check in with yourself and your overall mood rating. I would recommend something as simple as using a scale from 0 to 10, where 0 represents the most depressed you've ever been and 10 is the happiest you've ever been. And give yourself a number each day. Be honest with yourself and check in on your own progress. The only way to find out if something really is working for you is to test it out. So I invite you to experiment with this new routine that brings you joy and invite you to stay more engaged in your own life. I hope that you heard something that was helpful for you today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. This will help me reach out more people that may need to hear this information. Your health is important to me. Until next time, be well.